respect. We see each other not as enemies, but as fellow human beings, each made in the image of God, each precious in His sight. We leave no one behind. We believe everyone deserves a fair shot. We give hate no safe harbor. Together we believe in America. That's my prayer, to remember who we are.
It wants you to claim this relief now, and millions of people residing in several states are missing out on another payment from the federal government. If you are a part-time worker or a senior citizen, you'll likely qualify for one of these checks. Nearly 1.5 million Americans that could be owed a share of the unclaimed tax refunds are going to get the stimulus cash, because according to the IRS, the outstanding funds are worth almost $1.5 billion, with an average payout of $900. Typically, there is a 3-year deadline to claim refunds before the cash becomes property of the U.S. Treasury. But because of the crisis, there has been an extension for the tax returns. It means taxpayers have until July 17 to claim the money back. And according to the IRS, Texas residents are owed the most, with an estimated 135,000 residents in the state sitting on an average of $924. It's totaling over $141 million. The state-by-state breakdown calculated by the agency shows that California residents have the second highest sum of possible refunds, with $141 million potentially owed to 145,000 people. Florida comes in third, with a median projected refund of $893 for about 90,000 residents. And the IRS predicts that about 81,000 New Yorkers could be owed almost $87 million, while people living in Illinois could be sitting on about $57 million in unclaimed cash. The state with the lowest sum of unclaimed tax refunds is Vermont, where 3,100 people could be eligible for just over $3 million in refunds. The average amount of money that could be owed is slightly over the national median at $901, because according to the agency, students, part-time workers, and seniors often overlook filing a tax return and they never realize they're owed a refund check. Experts are warning that Americans should start gathering their records and file the return as soon as possible to avoid missing out on a potential windfall. And low to middle income people might also realize that they stand to lose out on more than just a refund. Because the IRS warns that workers may be eligible for the so-called Earned Income Tax Credit, which provides a tax break even without a balance due. The Earned Income Tax Credit is putting an average of $2,000 back in recipients' banks and helping lift more than people out of poverty. 31 million people applied and received this credit last year, but if the taxpayers who are eligible for the credit still don't claim it. Tax credits can help reduce how much you owe or how much you can give a refund for. There are a few basic qualifications for the Earned Income Tax Credit, including being a U.S. citizen, having earned income from wages, and also in the Senate, Democrats are warning the president not to agree to anything that would hurt the low-income Americans or to undermine the battle against climate change. Democratic senators are increasingly concerned that any deal that Biden strikes with Kevin McCarthy will include some major concessions that make it easier to approve fossil fuel extraction projects. It has spurred some of them to use the president to raise debt limit unilaterally and circumvent Republican lawmakers altogether. Democrats had urged Biden for months not to negotiate with McCarthy over a bill to raise debt limit. The president followed that advice for months, but he changed his course this week. And now there are several Democrats that have said that they will not vote for any legislation that will go against the promises they made to the American people. More relief bill. Now, folks, we have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus payment that you have to know. Joe Biden is making progress on the fourth stimulus payment, and it's good to know this because there's a ton of information about this stimulus check. First of all, looming cuts to monthly benefits are set to affect the millions of low income. In just a couple of days, many will notice smaller monthly benefit checks, and several Democrats want to take action on this. Many are trying to fall into food security, and now, when the crisis aid has boosted food stamp benefits cuts next week again, millions of the low-income Americans will see smaller balances in the accounts that they use to pay for groceries, leaving food banks bracing for a spike in demand. As of March 1st, the emergency allotment for individuals and households enrolled in federal SNAP program will end in 32 states, the District of Columbia, Guam, and the Virgin Islands. This means that the recipient households will see their monthly grocery allocation reduced by at least $95. And according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, that equates to cutting roughly $9 per person on average, for about $6.10. And the change comes when food prices in January had increased 10% over the same last month. For instance, a deputy undersecretary for the USDA administers the SNAP program and acknowledged that SNAP benefits have proved to be very powerful for recipients. And now Dean even stated that this can't be underscored enough in the difference of it's making a huge mitigating increase in hunger and addressing economic hardship and poverty. She added that while the program's expiration will be difficult, the extra aid delivered was always designed to be temporary. More than 40 million people participated in SNAP as of October, in the latest period for which the federal data was available. Participation hasn't even previously surpassed that level since the summer of 2020, and the program's total cost for fiscal year 2021 was only $113 billion. That included 9 months of a 15% increase to the maximum benefit as part of this emergency allotment. But research by the Urban Institute found that the enhanced SNAP benefits are going to keep 4.2 million people above the poverty line. And food banks in those areas say they've seen sharp demand for SNAP, and the benefits are reduced, and relief organizations in the remaining states are now scrambling to strategize what to do. Because in Georgia, which ended its enhanced benefits last May, and the Atlanta Community Food Bank told NBC News that the visits had increased 34% through December. In October, the USDA issued a 12.5% cost of living adjustment to the maximum SNAP benefit. But the full impact on recipients' finances is a period of high inflation remaining unclear. And the eligible low-income people in California of Sonoma County will begin to receive a $500 a month in 2-year trial of a new guaranteed income program. Universal Basic Income Program is the way, because the county released another Pathway to Income Equity pilot program, which mirrors similar programs to the state and provided guaranteed payments to households and families experiencing poverty. The first pilot program in the state was launched in Stockholm in 2019, Stockton, and the city gave some low-income residents $500 a month, which helped in so many ways. Officials say that participants got the full-time employment at twice the rate of those who were not in the program, and that people spent the money on basic foods like food and utilities and things they really need in their life. So I agree, everybody, that's a great decision from President Biden to send out the fourth stimulus check. He should definitely do more for the American people.
To turn that on. And you decided at an early age, and your country and we all benefit from that work. So thank you. So to everyone here, all of Dwayne's friends, our President, Joe Biden, members of our cabinet who are here, members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and to everyone here, and in particular our young leaders, thank you all for your leadership and for us all being together this afternoon. So during Black History Month, we celebrate all of those who through courage and conviction, through resistance and resilience, from bold discoveries and cutting-edge research to arts and music and a myriad of other disciplines, advanced freedom, liberty, and opportunity for the benefit of all Americans.